I'm not really on a John Wayne kick. I'm not necessarily a big fan of his, but I know there was a movement to take away the name John Wayne Airport based on some unfortunate comments he made in a Playboy interview in 1971. And this has reminded me of the way people have dragged out some of Margaret Sanger's statements, usually made from the 1930s. It's also reminded me of demands to take away Thomas Jefferson's names and statues because of the fact that he did own slaves, and he did almost certainly fathered children with Sally Hemings, who was an enslaved woman. Okay. And in the case of now in the case of Thomas Jefferson, there is a question of actions. But in the case of Margaret Sanger and John Wayne, they're basically going after remarks and statements that were made, which were problematic. Okay. In the Playboy interview, John Wayne used an unfortunate slur word regarding homosexuals. But the fact is that during his career, he did work with gay men. I mean, he was an actor, you know? And as an actor, he worked with people of different sexual orientations. You do that when you're an actor. If you're not willing to work with gay people, acting's not for you. He also did make a remark about white supremacy, which is extremely troubling. But he also later said that he was actually using that, he actually was repeating the term that the interviewer had used, and he later regretted repeating that term. And he also made some very problematic comments about Native Americans. Okay, now these are problematic, okay, but the fact is he did work with Black people. When he made his films, he sometimes would go to Indian reservations and tribal groups and work with them. He worked with people of all ethnic and racial groups. And, you can't, with Margaret Sanger, John Wayne, whoever, we can't wipe out people's accomplishments and entire lives based on stupid remarks that they might have made. I mean, people sometimes make remarks that they wish they could take back. But, if you're famous, you do an interview, you get caught. And I think a lot of it's unfair. And it is true that 1971 was not 1930s. So in a way, John Wayne is actually more guilty than Margaret Sanger was. But at the same time, they were just remarks. And they were problematic. But do they really wipe out a lifetime do they really wipe out the whole life? We just can't demand that everybody be a plaster of Paris saint. And everybody has done some things and said some things they're not proud of. Okay. So I really wish that people would kind of stop this thing of, demanding that everybody, be 100% flawless in their conversation and conduct, because nobody is.